Kuroda? More like Kuro, dang, this is getting awkward. Who's gonna be the one to break this stalemate? Hey guys, MasakoX here. Sometimes these stories are adventures that come naturally to the story right off of the bat, with no need to worry about the inner machinations of the universe that it's in. However, this tale requires a little more maneuvering in order to make it seem logical, and something that can still work within the boundaries of the original source material. Then again, it has been far easier than I thought. This scenario sees one character's life change only in the fact that their identifying gender is opposite from what it was in the original. That little change makes a big impact in some ways, but in other ways, not so much. Certainly in the terms of the core persona, nothing really becomes markedly different. So today, we are returning after a pretty big gap to the story past about what might happen had Goku been born female. Like I said, Goku's personality is quite simple to understand, and it's something that isn't heavily reliant on them being a dude. In fact, the best characters out there are those that rely on their character and personality alone, rather than their gender that they assign themselves. You can engage with them because you like what they say, do, and provide to the other characters within a particular story. As a result in Dragon Ball of being female, Goku's friendship with Bulma did change considerably, and the lass from Capsule Corp took Goku under her wing and showed her the ropes of human society much sooner than before, which molded our Saiyan into a much more well-rounded and sociable being who made firm friends in her group, the Breakfast Club of Combat, as you might be able to be familiar with, something that you too can be representing by going to masako.cc/breakfast. In the last part, we saw two members of the group get together. Goku and Krillin, despite having a rather simple relationship, finally got together properly, and then welcomed their firstborn into the world, much to you guys' surprise. Baby Kuroda was born, and the events that led up to the android saga in this universe occurred. Now, I know a lot of you were stunned for this to happen, but given the fact that regardless of gender, Krillin and Goku are like that, the best of friends, and friendship in a relationship, any relationship, is paramount. The best of said relationships out there are built on a strong friendship. Instead of Trunks, we got a female Super Saiyan arriving from the future to deliver messages to our heroes. Instead of a heart virus, it's a distress call that lured Goku away off into space, their fate unknown. That was the culprit for the future to fall apart, and sure enough in the present time the said call came, to which our Goku ignored. As a result, our gang had the upper hand. Android 19, not a problem. The only issue that our heroes had now was to deal with a Jiro who was quickly retreating, and then the future Saiyan arriving again to offer assistance and then drop herself in it, saying her name was Kuroda. Not really realizing at the time what a big mistake that utterance was, and how now there is a lot of explaining to do. The air is thick with confusion. Future Kuroda is unsure of how to read the situation. For a few seconds she is perplexed as to why the Dragon team had suddenly gone silent, with a mixture of puzzlement and shock. Then it dawns on her. Oh, she'd been born already. Ow! Curse her politeness in novel settings! She tries to skirt around the subject and asks if they'd managed to defeat Jiro yet, to which Krillin pipes up, also keen to divert the subject. No, not yet. We managed to get him to skedaddle though for the moment, to lick his wounds. He didn't know what hit him. Kuroda sighs, thankful that her father of the past was also pretty tactful. I'm afraid that's not what he's doing. He's most likely going to bring out the main course, as it were. Androids 17 and 18. Yamcha is confused with this. 17? 18? Why would he use older models? It doesn't matter though. We kicked their butt already just now, and we can do it again, no problem. No, Yamcha. These two are even worse. These two are responsible for tearing my time apart. Everything my elders knew turned to ash and flames, just for their amusement. Oh, how I long to get my hands on them and do the same to them for my amusement. The silence resumes, with Kuroda quietly sobbing to herself, realizing the significance of the situation. However, she is halted by a hand on her shoulder. It's Goku's hand. She is looking determined. We've got this. Don't you worry. We can take them down before they even get the chance. Kuroda is stunned. She expected her mother to be wild, flying off the handle. This was bizarrely refreshing.
Also, I want to see how strong my daughter is. I mean, if you can go Super Saiyan 2, then you must be really powerful. So cool!
Ah, there it is. Kuroda perks up a little bit, but remains focused.
Well, you're not going to get to see that standing here. Let's get moving. I know where his lab is.
Kuroda leads the way with the Breakfast Club following in hot pursuit. On the way to the lab, Krillin moves alongside Kuroda and asks whether she's okay.
Yeah, it's just all so surreal. Seeing the full club together again in action is wild. Also getting to see you and Mom so young and full of energy. I'm glad the time machine brought me here.
Mom never told me. She was too excited back in the day, but did any of us survive it all?
Well, you sadly fell first. It was a cheap shot at that.
Krillin sighs. So much for him being the wise old sensei then.
Yamcha hung in there for quite a while, but in the end, his cockiness got the better of him, wasted by a joint movement. The only ones who are still around are Bulma and Chi-Chi, the latter my master.
Krillin looks back to Chi-Chi flying behind them, who notices the pair of them looking at her. What were they talking about? It better have been good.
I wish Mom came home. I never found out what happened to her. Did she lose interest in us? Was she taken prisoner somewhere? I don't know. Did Jiro just straight up end her before she even left? All this mystery is such a heavy weight on my shoulders. How do you guys cope with all this pressure of defending the Earth day in, day out?
Well, to be fair, kid, the future sounds way more troublesome than here. If we get through this, you should chill out a little. It does me the world of good.
Yeah, I'd like that.
The journey now is much more pleasant, much less awkward despite the grave destination. When they're starting to get close, Jiro had barely arrived, reckoning that he had given the gang the slip and had taken his time. His sweet time, being very assured, he casually enters the chamber of his and begins to activate 17 and 18, as well as ensuring that his extra special secret ingredient that gives the androids Kaioken is now mixed into the fuel that powers the Infinity Engine. Excellent. It seems that the older technology will have to suffice. So much for that novel idea of energy draining. However, before he can fully fill the tanks with Kaioken juice, the door slams open. What? They found him! How? How could they possibly know where he was located? He mistakenly assumes then that capsule-called girl had ratted him in. But not quite, Doctor. And our club with Kuroda leading the way enters the laboratory.
It's over, Jiro! Give yourself up, or else we'll tear you asunder.
My, the brute knows some complex words. So, you're not all utter cretins then. But it doesn't matter. My creations are just about done.
A beep confirms this. The Kaioken juice had now been completely emptied into 17 and 18.
Your secret power is now mine! With that and my everlasting genius, this world will usher in a new dawn of technological innovation led by myself and the Red Ribbon Army! It's time now for you to give yourselves up.
The pods swing open, and out step 17 and 18, looking quite disorientated, but also very determined. They take a look around and spot the Doctor, who had locked them away. What's up, Doc? Need us to clean up your mess again?
Such vulgar utterances are not necessary, 17. What is necessary is for you to do my bidding, like I have instructed you, and eliminate the pest that you see before you.
He points to Goku, who has now assumed a more serious expression. The first time that she's actually been like this since Kuroda arrived just now. 18 looks to Goku, and then back to Jiro.
All that? She's nothing. You, though.
She silkily walks up to Jiro, lightly taps him on the back as she walks by, which actually sends him flying into a computer terminal.
Are a real pest.
She spots then 16's pod just casually on the floor and decides to activate it out of boredom. Jiro frantically telling them to stop. Tenshinhan looks to his crew and wonders if they should be trying to do the same. Yamcha is shaking his head.
Dude, are you crazy? These guys are rebelling against the guy we've been trying to stop.
I say roll with it. Kuroda turns to Yamcha. Yep, that's the Yamcha she remembered from her past. Always looking for an easy way out of a spot of bother. 16 then steps out, a behemoth of a robot with glowing red eyes. Something that apparently had not been fully calibrated yet. Maybe there was a reason that he was kept in there, something of which 18 actually manages to exploit. They had found a pet.
Hey, 16, right? You see that crazy looking old guy over there?
16's red eyes turn to Jiro, his father from a past life.
Identified.
Kill him.
But I am afraid that I can't do that. I am programmed to only eliminate Son Goku. Is that Son Goku?
Yeah, whatever, sure. She's wearing a costume, just do it.
Understood.
16 slowly walks to Jiro and then looms over him.
Wait! Stop! 16! Cease this idiocy! I am your master and your father! Does not compute. I am not your son. You are Son Goku. Prepare to be eliminated.
He grabs a struggling Jiro and holds him like a football and proceeds to crush him before dunking him through the floor of the lab, falling hundreds and hundreds of feet. 17 and 18 gaze down the hole. Don't you think that was a little excessive, sis? I mean, getting the son to end his own dad? Don't you think that's a little much?
Nah, he had it coming.
17 shrugs, yeah, she's not wrong, and waits for 16 to return. Meanwhile, the club are appalled. That thing had been Jiro's son? Somehow? And those two just got him to do that on command? Yep, looks like Kuroda was right. They were a menace. She powers up Kuroda and fires a Kamehameha at 17 and 18, which blows up the lab around them entirely, but leaves the two androids completely unharmed, still in the same position, like nothing had happened, waiting for their friend to show up. And he does. Now with his eyes no longer red, instead a softer blue, 16 turns to the pair.
The target was not that of Son Goku. It was Dr. Gero. This goes against my programming. I must terminate myself, as instructed by my creator.
17 puts a hand on his huge arm.
Whoa, big guy, don't rush things.
That guy wasn't a person. He was as robotic as you or I.
My scanners identify you as mostly humanoid. Your statement contradicts itself.
Oh, let's not get bogged down with who said what. It doesn't matter. He's not alive, especially now. So forget about that and come with us. We can show you a good time. 16 then spots Goku, and his eyes scan her.
That is Son Goku. My primary directive is now re-established.
17 and 18 grab 16 and try to pull him back. What did I just say, big guy? We don't want to fight right now. We've only just woken up. We're not in the mood.
Your mood does not factor into my calculations. Son Goku must be eliminated. Now!
If you do that, will it get you to shut up and come with us?
Affirmative.
Then have at it then. Make it quick.
17 and 18 sit down with their head in their hands, looking utterly bored. 16, however, is fired up. We then get an epic fight between Goku and 16, with the former going Super Saiyan and giving 16 a run for his money. The gang are just waiting for the moment that Kaioken shows itself inside 16, but it doesn't. It seems that 16 does not have that ability. Yamcha is looking pretty relieved. Hey, he hasn't got Kaioken! Looks like Jiro's plan failed. You got this, Goku, take him out! Chi-Chi tuts.
Yamcha, don't assume anything.
She's right, dude, 17 shouts. He ain't got the secret stuff that we got, I think. With the fight carrying on for a very long time, 18's patience is wearing thin. She then gets up, with her brother wondering what she's up to, and activates Kaioken herself, slapping Goku down to the floor. Will you just stop this already? I'm bored out of my mind. 16 looms over her now.
You are getting in my way. Move aside. I am fast approaching Son Goku's limit.
That's what you said 20 minutes ago. Either get it done, or we'll do it.
Goku then slaps her back when she wasn't looking, and she too lands on the floor. She gets up, brushing her hair back, looking furious. Krillin rolls his armbands up and gets into position. Well guys, I think that's our cue to jump in. Chi-Chi and Tenshinhan look just as focused. Yamcha though, he just wants to go home. However, the club now are in full swing, with now a reluctant 17 joining in. The fight is very tumultuous. In fact, multiple fights. We've got 16 versus Goku, 18 versus Chi-Chi and Krillin, and then 17 versus Kuroda, Tenshinhan, and a very stubborn Yamcha. With Kaioken behind them, the androids are making up for the lack of numbers. However, all this sparking energy is attracting attention. Yamcha, who had been trying to avoid as much of the attacks as possible, trying to pretend that he doesn't exist, notices a creature skulking around them. Now, you may be thinking that this is Cell as you might remember him, but you don't know her. This imperfect Cell is more sleek than the original version, but still very athletic, ready to pounce on their suspecting victims. Guys? What's that thing? Tenshinhan isn't buying this.
Yamcha, enough with your excuses. We're in the middle of something right now.
Kuroda then spots the creature too. Having been rumbled, the creature vanishes. The creature now is sticking around the area though, but is then accosted by Piccolo, who had been surprisingly absent throughout all of this, but he looks determined, glad to have actually been able to do something.
Well, what do we have here? A bug ready to be squashed.
Now, unfortunately, Piccolo hasn't fused with Kami yet. It's not a guarantee whether he actually will. He had not also recognized how powerful this bug person was, since it had actually been hiding its energy to jump our heroes.
Piccolo, yes.
What's it to you?
You have made a big mistake getting in my way of reuniting with my siblings.
Siblings? What are you blathering on about?
But before he can finish that sentence, Celine jumps him. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? How will a much weaker Piccolo handle Celine? Will the Dragon team be able to help the Namekian at all? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!